Welcome to this week's episode of Bearcat Update. I'm your host, John Walker. Last week was a pretty successful week for Northwest Athletics. To start things off, the men and women's basketball teams competed last week against Missouri Western on Tuesday and Washburn on Thursday. The men defeated the Griffins by 23 points with a score of 92-69. The team had a tough battle against the Washburn Ichabods Thursday, in which they trailed by 9 points at the half. Nonetheless, the Cats found a way to come back, eventually winning 69-61. The women were not as successful as the men last week, coming out with an 0-2 record. First, they battled the Griffins. They fell 77-49. For the Washburn game, they came up short, falling 83-58 against the Ichabods. With all this action happening, as always, we were there to catch the highlights.
We start with the women. Washburn out the gate strong, gets the layup to go. 2-0 Ichabods. After Washburn hopped out to a 6-point lead, Erica Schlosser with the three to bring the Bearcats within 3 points. She follows that up with a Peyton Rouse step through up and under. Ichabods by 1. We move later to the game where Washburn started to run away with it. You got a Mallory McConkey turnaround jumper, but it would be to no avail. Washburn, of course, ran away with the game, leaving an MIAA tournament bid on the table for Northwest until later in the day when Newman lost to put the Bearcats in. To the men we go. Jalen Lewis with a little shake and bake to get the Ichabods going. Trevor Hudgens, the drive-in kick to Wes Dreamer in the corner. Back and forth affair early between these two. Diego Bernard up and under, but the Ichabods pulled away in the late minutes of the first half, leading by 9. Northwest started to come back in the second half, help from that no-look pass from Hudgens to DB. Here we go. Bernard pulls it out. Bernard drives the lane, and Bernard slams it home. That ends Northwest regular season on a 20-game win streak with the win over the Ichabods.
The men are once again having a successful season, winning their 7th consecutive regular season MIAA championship. It's a stretch of continuous success in which the Bearcats are trying to win their 3rd national championship in 4 years. Our reporter Nolan Brooks spoke with the team to see how they've developed such a successful program. Nolan.
Northwest men's basketball has become one of the most dominant programs in the country over the last 4 years, posting a record of 128-6 overall with 4 regular season MIAA titles, 3 MIAA tournament titles, alongside 2 national championships, has cemented this team as one of the best. I sat down with assistant coach and former player Zach Schneider to find out how the incredible run got started.
Obviously the first class that Mac brought in, probably Deshaun Cooper, Bryson Williams, really set the culture, just energy-wise, bringing it every day. And then the class after that would be Dylan Starzl, Grant Kozad, Tyler Funk, Kyle Schleich, Matt Wallace. Those are all guys that I played with. So I'd say that's the starting foundation. And then Coach McCollum and Meyer just continued to bring in really quality kids that wanted to put in the work, and I think it just kept rolling from there.
And with all the success the men's program has had, it takes plenty of input from each and every player. And senior Ryan Welty, the nation's all-time leading three-point percentage shooter, knows what brought him and this team so many wins.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a combination of things, starting with the coaching staff. They do a really good job getting us ready for every game and getting us ready to go for practice and just help us improve every day. And then also the players. I played with some really great players, obviously Justin, my freshman, sophomore year, Joey, Hawk, Trev. So, obviously having great players surrounding you, that helps too. And then unselfish players too. I feel like we have a bunch of unselfish guys that they know their role, so I think that's the big thing with all the wins. It's because of my teammates and coaches.
And now that Welty has 4 years with the team under his belt, alongside many other accolades, the winning culture of the men's program impacted him well before his career began.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's pretty much the main reason why I chose Northwest, is I knew we were capable of winning, big games and winning a lot of games. So that's one of the main reasons why I came here, and it just shows that all the hard work's paid off, and I couldn't have done it. We couldn't have done it without teammates and coaches. Like I've been saying, it's unselfishness, I think, all around. So I think that's the biggest thing there.
And now with the MIAA tournament and regional tournament upon them, Welty knows there's only one way to play.
bring effort every game and just play to the best of our ability, because we know we're going to get everyone's best shot from here on out. And I mean, we've been getting everyone's best shot the entire year, so we just need to do what we can control, just bring effort every game and just make sure we play to the best of our ability.
For the fourth straight year, the men's team looks to continue their dominance into the postseason and claim another championship. For Bearcat Update, I'm Nolan Brooks.
Thanks, Nolan. Heading into the conference tournament, the men have a record of 28-1. The women 11-17. They sit 10th in the MIAA. The men are in first. Both teams will look to find success in the tournament this week, starting Wednesday with the women. Speaking of the MIAA tournament, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll have a full breakdown of both brackets when we come back to Bearcat Update right here on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. We talked about it before the break, so let's hop straight into it. We'll start with the women and then move into the men's bracket. For the women's bracket, the Bearcats get a first-round matchup with Central Oklahoma. The Bearcats went on the road to Edmond on February 1st and bucked the Broncos 63-60. It's a good opportunity for the women to snap a 4-game losing streak heading into the tournament and could give them some momentum if they're able to win. I like this side of the bracket for Northwest because if the Bearcats are able to get past the Broncos and play Emporia State, that's a favorable matchup with a team that they've competed against. It could get iffy for the women if their matchup with either the 3 or 6 seed Nebraska Kearney or Missouri Western, who both teams they struggled against this season. Moving over to the men's side, the Bearcats get to wait for their quarterfinal matchup and play the winner of Central Oklahoma and Lincoln. Rogers State's going to be the other team with a bye who got a 2 seed. And UCO is a team that if they get past Lincoln, they gave Northwest some competition down the stretch of the season. So if you're Northwest, you want to face the Blue Tigers. Other than that, Washburn's a team that could give Northwest fits, as we talked about, as they did last Thursday. And on the other side of the men's bracket with Rogers State, Northeastern State, and Missouri Southern, I like the possibility of a third matchup with the Lions. We'll address this on my Twitter throughout the week, so make sure to follow me for those updates throughout the MIAA tournament. After all, it's March. March Madness is officially upon us, and now it's time to sit back and watch the chaos unfold. That's going to wrap things up for your MIAA tournament preview. Make sure to stick around for more Northwest athletics right here as you watch Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. The Northwest baseball team had its first home game of the season last weekend against Northeastern State. The Bearcats lost the 3-game series, only mustering 1 win against the Riverhawks. The team will be back in action this weekend, battling Emporia State in Emporia, Kansas. The softball team traveled to Springfield, Missouri last weekend to compete in the Drury Invitational. The women fought hard against 4 teams, coming out with a perfect, unblemished 4-0 record. The team will be back in action this weekend for their first home games against Missouri Western and the University of Illinois Springfield. The Northwest men and women's tennis teams had their first matches last weekend against William Jewell and Oklahoma Baptist. Against William Jewell, the men's match record was 5-2, and for Oklahoma Baptist, the record was 6-1. The women were just as successful as the men, coming out with 2 winning match records of 7-0 against William Jewell and 5-2 against Oklahoma Baptist. Both teams will be back in action this weekend, competing against Drury in Springfield, Missouri. Northwest Track and Field is also heading into the postseason. Last weekend, they competed in the MIAA Championships. The team had positive results coming from the meet, and our reporter Derek Campbell spoke with the team to see what that meet means for them and their future. Derek.
I met up with the Northwest Track and Field team this week and met with senior Jordan Hammond and got her perspective of the team.
This team it's super talented this year. We have more depth than usual, still not as much as, a lot of other teams, but we can do a lot of good things in a lot of different places on the track and in field events, so that's awesome.
Senior Marcus Klein talks about what is expected of the team during practice for the MIAA Championship weekend.
This week's been a lot easier. We're sort of deloading now, getting our bodies ready to pop and really be explosive, because we've worked hard throughout the season, throughout indoor season. We've been working hard through all the meets, and now we're just starting to peak and let off the gas a little bit just get ready to explode.
Jordan expresses what her goal is and what is important during this week of MIAA Championship and during Nationals.
So I think the mindset all year long is the same because my goals all year long are the same, but for sure once conference and nationals rolls around, you kind of like, you kick it into gear, like just one more notch, like, you're more intense, you're more focused on diet and sleep. Those things become a lot more important.
Klein talks about his improvement of the season and what it will take for him to win at championship weekend.
Oh yeah, a lot of improvement actually, but because last year my best indoor was 751, which was at conference. And I've already jumped 745 on a bad jump. And so if I can hit one of my big jumps, it should, who knows what it'll be. It should be really good. Hopefully I have a chance to win it if I can hit it.
I talked with Jordan on what it feels like to be at Nationals every year since she has been at Northwest.
So yeah, I've been to the national meet every season I've been in college. It's a confidence booster, I guess, knowing that I'm able to compete at the highest level at Division II, compete against and with all of these great athletes. And I think, when it comes down to a meet like MIAAs, I know that I'm just as good.
The Northwest track and field team is prepared for championship weekend. I am Derek Campbell reporting for Bearcat Update.
Thanks, Derek. For the women, Jordan Hammond placed 4th in the 60-meter dash, 5th in the 200, and 3rd in the 60-meter hurdles. Heba Magoo placed 2nd in the 200-meter dash, 1st in the 400. Jaleesa McWashington placed 2nd in the long jump. Caroline Ross placed 1st in the 3,000-meter. Jada Shanklin placed 1st in the high jump, and Audrey Wickman placed 2nd in the high jump, along with 2nd in the 4x400-meter relay. On the men's side, Kareem Achengli placed 3rd in the 5,000 meters. Omar Austin placed 2nd in the 60 meters, 3rd in the 200, and 2nd in the 400. Jordan Coe placed 2nd in the 3,000 meters and 2nd in the 5,000 meters. Kaylin Harkey placed 5th in the 200 meters and 4th in the 400. Marcus Klein placed 4th in the long jump. Tyrell Maddox placed 1st in the 800. Trey Moulton placed 3rd in the 60 hurdles. Cliff Nichols placed 2nd in the 800-meter dash. Reese Smith placed 5th in the 3,000, and Colin Welch placed 3rd in the 600. The teams will be competing in the NCAA Championships over spring break March 13th and 14th in Birmingham, Alabama. That's going to wrap things up for a couple of weeks of Bearcat Update. Our next episode will be on the 16th due to spring break. Make sure to follow my Twitter @ByJohnWalker and our show @BearcatUpdate_8 for updates over the break, and catch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT8. Thanks for watching. See you in a couple of weeks. How we doing, guys? Make sure to check out last week's episode of Bearcat Update up here, and for all of our previous episodes, click down here. See you in a couple of weeks.